Today I'm going to show you the WordPress plugin Magic Post Thumbnail, which allows you to generate images within your posts and pages. So the video is going to be divided into two parts. The first one will be the settings of the plugin, and the second one explains the different methods that allow you to generate these images. Let's start with the dashboard. After you have installed and activated your extension, here you are on the dashboard, which groups all the useful links such as the forum, the contact form, the plugin reviews on WordPress.org, the tutorials, the frequently asked questions, and the link to donate. You also have a panel for your account which resume all your information like your email account, the current installed version, etc. In the settings part, you can see posts. What you will find in the posts part will be the hook Save Post. So we'll talk about that in the second part. It's one of the ways to generate images. You can check it off depending on what you want to do next. Then you have the post type. There are post types where you want the images to be generated. You can check the default checkboxes for posts and pages, but if you use other themes than the default one, there can be more post types. So you click the checkboxes for these types of content according to your needs. If, for example, you click the checkbox for posts, you will see that in a specific post, you will get a button click to generate. You will also have in the posts list, at the top with bulk actions, the option Generate Featured Images for checked posts. The images part is going to be the part that will require the most settings. So first of all, the featured or post image is going to be the place where your image will be generated. By default, it's going to be the featured image. This is the image when you are on and post, which is on the right. In the Pro version, you can also choose top of post and end of post. So in this case, you will be able to add the image below the content or above the content. Then based on will allow you to decide on what the image will be based on to be generated. Should the image be based on the title in question, or should it be based on an analysis of the text? The analysis of the text will allow you to extract keywords from your content to know which main content words are. You have to choose the language in which your WordPress and especially your content will be displayed. With the Pro version, you also have tags, categories, and custom field. So you can choose whether the image is based on the first tag, the last one, or a random tag, and it's the same for the category. For the custom field, it's up to you to specify which field you want to use. About the title and the text analyzer, there is not necessarily one better than the other. It's up to you to test. Some images render better with the text analyzer and other contents render better with the title. It's really on a case-by-case basis. You have to test and choose. Then when you choose title, you can choose either the full title or a part of the title. If you have long titles, it might be better to use the first 4 or 5 words, because if you use titles with 20 words or 21 words, I'm not sure you will find many images. Then the selected image. By default, this is the first result. In the Pro version, you can select a random result. Image file name is by default the name of the post title, but you can also choose the current date or a random number. The Rewrite Existing Images allows you to rewrite an image that is already in place. If we take the example of our last post, we see that there is already a featured image. If you click the button, it will replace the current image only if the rewriting option is checked. Finally, the image shuffle is available in the Pro version. It allows to flip horizontally the image. The crop image by 10% will crop the image edges to make it more unique. The source part of the setting. It is the image bank you will use to get all the images. By default, it's going to be from Google Images Direct Retrieval, but you have a lot of other methods to get images. You can go through the Google Images API, you can go through DALL-E. So there is always APIS, except for the first method. Same for Creative Commons. It's a library that retrieves images from many different places. There are about 100 different libraries. Flickr, Pixabay, YouTube Thumbnail, Shutterstock, Getty Images, Unsplash. Shutterstock and Getty Images do not retrieve original images. These images are retrieved with a watermark, whether it's on Shutterstock or Getty Images, because you have to pay to get the real images without a watermark on these two websites, and the plugin doesn't allow you to do that. So there will be other videos available soon for each source to explain how to create the API keys, because, for some of them it's not very easy to understand how to do it. The easiest method is to let options by default in Google Images, with the language you use with your WordPress posts. About other options, I'll let you discover the main colors of the image format sizes, adult filter. For the Pro version, 2 options allow you to restrict domains. For each domain name that you will put on each line, Google will retrieve the images that are only on these domains. So if there are no images on these domains, you will not have any images, but it allows you to restrict the selection of images a lot. It could be good, for example, if you only want images from Wikipedia, you can put wikipedia.org here and that's all. Of course, if you leave it empty, there's no restriction. On the other hand, the blacklist below allows you to exclude some domains. If you don't want images from wikipedia.org, you can put it here, and you can do the same with as many domains as you want for each line. To finish with the settings, interval. Interval is what we call a throttle, which means that it will allow your images not to be generated all at once, but to have a time delay. You can put 3 per minute, or 1 per minute, etc. For what purpose? You have to know that if you use Google as an image source, and if you generate too many images in a few minutes, there's a chance that Google won't like it very much, and the plugin will get a CAPTCHA. Then you'll be blacklisted for a while. So to avoid that, the best thing to do is to define an interval. I'd rather have 1 generation per minute personally, but it's up to you to do your own tests. If you don't generate a lot of images, like hundreds every minute, you won't have any problem, but if you want to use it intensely, it's rather recommended to use this option. Then we go to the Pro part. You have several tabs, so the first one is compatibility. There is nothing complicated here. If you use plugins like Featured Image from URL, WP All Import, WP Matico, or FeedWordPress, you can activate the compatibility. By default, this is disabled, so remember to activate them once you have added your plugins. Then you have the cron part. Independently of any plugin that you use automatically or not, the cron will pass over your pages and your posts every X minutes or X hours to generate images on the pages without images. So in our example, every 5 minutes we will make sure that pages without images created recently, like 1 hour and newer, will get a new image. You can save, and now the cron will work alone. Then the proxy part. This was used before the interval part was created. If you want to avoid your website with Google Image Blacklist, if you use the generation too much, it is possible to use proxy. If you want to use this option, you must use proxy with the HTTPS protocol, not something else, otherwise it will not work. You can fill in the address, the port, and the username password if you have it, and save. Then, the miscellaneous part. You have several tabs, including affiliation. So if you want to promote the plugin, you can go through and ask to become an affiliate. Then the upgrade. This is for the free version. If you want to upgrade the plugin, here you have the different prices. The last one now, logs. By default, this is disabled, but you want to enable it to see what happens during the generations, and if you ever have a bug or anything else and you need to send me some information, it can be convenient to enable this option. Download the logs and email them to the support. Finally, the last tab that you don't need is the bulk generation. It's useful only when you have generations in progress, as we'll see right after. So how to generate images? There are 5 methods. 2 are in the Pro version. The simplest method will be to check that in your post settings, you have, for example, the checkbox for posts checked. Then you will have this button there which will appear in your posts. You have to click the button and wait a few seconds. Then, the new image appears here, and it is related to the post title. the image doesn't match, then you can change the options, you can rewrite the existing images and, for example, you will have the text analyzed randomly, turning horizontally. It's up to you to do your tests. Here you can regenerate a post image. The second way to generate your images. Instead of doing it one by one, you will be able to do it in bulk action. So in your posts list, you will select the posts where you want to get an image. For example, we can take these 3 posts and we will generate the images. Go into bulk action and select Generate Featured Images and apply. You will see every image generated in real time. If there is no image found or if there is any problem, the status will display fail. Then, you can edit the page, you can see the page on the front end, and edit the image generated. The third method for generating images is the old method. This is the Save Post hook. What does that mean? Basically, WordPress uses a hook system, and if you enable it, every time you save or create an image, the plugin generation function will work. That's how version 3 of the plugin worked before. Now by default, it's disabled because there are other methods, but you can enable it if you import your posts by any method, whether in your own way or with X or Y plugins. What you have to do is to check Save Post, and each time a post is created or updated, the generation will be activated and you will have nothing else to do. The fourth method, in the Pro version, as we have seen, there is the cron method. You can enable it and there is nothing else to do. Automatically, every post or page that does not have an image will generate one every X minutes or X hours. And finally, the last method. This is the options page about the compatibility with plugins like WP All Import or WP Immatico. You have only to enable or disable it. So that's it for the 5 methods to generate your images. To finish, a little review of the settings for images. What I like to use personally as a setting is based on the title and the full title, as I don't have long titles. Random result and rewrite, flip horizontally, and save. We have an example with an image we don't like. We'll regenerate it again because the rewriting option is checked. Here is a picture that is much better now. Thank you for following this video. Do not hesitate to leave your opinion in the comments and to give me feedback. If you have any positive or negative feedback, bug, reports, or anything else.